You are listening to the Advocates of Aging podcast. This podcast is produced by the ABA Commission on Law and Aging. Listen to hear interviews and stories on topics related to law and aging, including best practice tips for professionals and career advice. Age is not just a number, it is an opportunity for growth and fulfillment. These episodes will explore the hurdles people face when aging, as well as opportunities for improving advocacy and strengthening the legal rights of others.
Hello, I'm Beth Russo with the American Bar Association's Commission on Law and Aging. I'm here with Erica Costello, and you are listening to our Advocates of Aging podcast. Today we have with us Eric Drogin, J.D., Ph.D., ABPP, is a fellow of the American Psychological Association, a fellow of the American Academy of Forensic Psychology, and a diplomat and former president of the American Board of Forensic Psychology. He currently holds faculty appointments with Harvard Medical School, the Harvard Mass General Brigham Forensic Psychiatry Fellowship, the Brigham and Women's Harvard Medical School Psychiatry Residence Training Program, and the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center Harvard Psychiatry Residency Training Program. Eric, we are excited to have you with us today. Can you just start off by telling us about yourself and your career? How did you end up where you are now?
Sure, I'd be glad to, and thanks for having me. I went to school to become an attorney and to become a psychologist at the same time as part of a combined program. And how I wound up here was actually not initially through a legal interest in aging concerns, but rather because my first forensic psychology work was in guardianship evaluations. And the vast number of examinees in that context were older persons.
Great. So thank you so much for talking about that, Eric, and about your experience with guardianships. So is that what made you interested in this area of law? And if not, what did make you interested in this area of law?
What made me interested in this area of law was, among other things, the exceptional difficulty that the attorneys who were conducting direct examinations of me and cross-examinations of me were having. Not just because I was so young that I didn't really know what I was doing, but also because of the fact that so many of the legal principles were so poorly settled. And also because at that time, there was little, if any, continuing legal education that focused on the issues being faced by older persons.
And what do you see as your role in the context of the aging field?
At this point, I seem to have the most fun, and it's nice when it happens this way, also the most use, it would appear, going back and forth between the two disciplines, trying to explain to the extent I understand it, what goes on in elder law for an audience of mental health professionals of all sorts, and then also how it is that psychiatry and psychology can be assistants, and also to show how psychiatry and psychology can assist elder law attorneys in their work.
So in your experience, what has been the most surprising thing that you found about aging, either personally or professionally in this field?
What surprised me early on was the very different nature and circumstances of older persons in addressing legal issues. We find with some of our early career doctors that they see children as just smaller adults. And there is also a very unfortunate tendency to this day on the part of mental health professionals to see older persons as just like everybody else, but allegedly a bit slow on the uptake. Of course, nothing could be further from the truth. There is no guarantee or even expectation of cognitive decline for people. This work is ruled by a lot of misunderstandings and outright myths that we are hoping to address in continuing education for the evaluators and experts as well as for counsel.
Where do you think those myths come from?
They come from a lack of understanding. They come from a lack of education. They come from the often hurried approach to this sort of work that springs, I'm sorry to say, in many instances from the poor compensation for providing representation in this area. There are other aspects of forensic mental health. There are other aspects of mental health law that are overflowing with funds and scholarship and eager early career doctors and lawyers jostling to get on board. That is not necessarily the case in elder law.
Thank you. What are you currently working on that's exciting you?
I would say that the most exciting projects for me currently are the ones that involve the Commission on Law and Aging. That might seem like an awfully convenient answer, but please believe me, it's the same answer I'd give to any group that might be asking. I found out about the commission, wanted to become involved with the commission, was lucky enough to be able to become involved with the commission, but I did not realize the full scope of its activities. We have a conference coming up in May where we're going to have presenters from all over the country dealing with different issues having to do primarily with guardianship. And that's an underserved area of scholarship and practice. And I'll be presenting, but I'm far more excited to show up and learn from such a stellar collection of people.
Well, we definitely appreciate hearing that and, your involvement with the commission. So what do you see right now as the most pertinent issues in the field?
We have an increased ability to scan in various ways different aspects of brain functioning. Under the broad rubric of neurolaw, we have to be careful, as we always do with emerging technologies, not to take it too far. We'll continue to explore, we'll continue to theorize, we'll continue to apply, but we can't just assume that we're going to be able literally to look inside someone's head and figure out what they're thinking. Goodness knows how many decades away from that we really are.
And what exactly, do you have any words of wisdom for attorneys or new attorneys that are entering into this field?
I don't know how much wisdom would be involved, but there's a certain amount of experience for some of this that I'd like to think would count for something. It would have to do with patience, and we can learn an awful lot from our clients when it comes to that. There is a lot of difficulty in gaining the proper support for this kind of legal work. There is a lot of difficulty, despite the efforts of the commission and others, in obtaining the necessary continuing education and to finding out just where certain decision makers and stakeholders stand when it comes to some of the pressing issues. Are we advocating for something that is seen legally and scientifically as helpful in an individual case? Or in fact, are we doing something that, if we had a broader understanding of what was going on, might not be that helpful? My advice to anyone seeking to progress in this area, or seeking to become involved in this area, is to seek out as much literature and continuing legal education as possible in order to understand what we're doing, but also to become part of the solution. It's a relatively small and tight-knit professional community that benefits from ongoing input from everyone.
And you referenced that there is literature out there for attorneys in this area that you would recommend. Is there anything in particular that you would recommend as far as literature is concerned?
I would, although it may be a bit premature. The Senior Lawyers Division of the American Bar Association has a Center for Excellence that deals with issues regarding dementia and the law. And the online framework for all of this is being beta tested as we speak. I and a number of other people are going to be working to get those resources up and available for ABA members.
Well, we appreciate hearing that, and we are definitely looking forward to your session at our upcoming conference in May. Thanks again for joining us. If you are interested in further information on this and other topics, check out our podcast notes on our website. You can also listen to this and other episodes by visiting the ABA Commission on Law on Aging's website and our YouTube channel. Remember to like and subscribe to be sure to get any updates. We look forward to having you join us for the next episode. In the meantime, keep on advocating for the legal rights of all.